The AI witch trials. It's gone a bit far. It's gone a bit far. I was prompted to make this video today because of the recent controversy of the book called Shy Girl. But I'm going to discuss a few different industries I've noticed this happening in. And I do want to start by saying I am not pro AI. I wouldn't say I'm at the level of AI hater, but I definitely do dislike AI, especially when it's used to generate images. That's probably what irks me the most, rather than people using it for text-based things. But I just noticed the pushback against organizations or people using AI or suspected of using AI is becoming vicious. It's becoming really vicious. And I feel like we all need to just take a breath and chill out a bit about it. I'll do a quick summary just in case you're not up to date on the Shy Girl situation. I won't go into super detail. There are videos such as like a 3 hour breakdown on the book if you want more, because I don't want to encourage more dogpiling. But a little summary: there's a young black female author called Mia Ballard, and she's recently released a book called Shy Girl, and she specializes in like horror books based on feminine rage, which is absolutely my genre. Cannot get enough of these books. I hadn't heard of her before this controversy, and she was self-published at first. So originally the book was self-published, and even when it was self-published, some reviews did mention this seems like it was written by AI. It's quite obvious that it may have been AI made. And then the book got picked up by a UK publisher called Hachette. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. A big publisher, so it reached a larger stage, and that's when pretty much all hell has broken loose. And now to the wider public it's been released. There's been a huge backlash against the book because people believe that it is very obviously AI generated. And I only read one very small passage that I saw on Reddit of the book, and I'm not an expert, to be honest, at spotting AI. So if I had read that without knowing the information before, I wouldn't have necessarily gone straight to AI. I would have just thought, like, this is not the best writing. It's not my cup of tea. What hasn't helped is she hasn't been fully clear. The story keeps changing on whether AI is involved with the book. So she has continually denied using AI to write it herself, but she's had a couple of comments. One of them was saying, oh, maybe an editor did it. She's like, maybe the editor used AI to edit it or rewrite it, but I had no knowledge. And then there was also mention of a friend or an associate that looked at the book for her and edited it, and then maybe she or they used AI. So unfortunately, the explanation she's been coming out with don't seem very credible. And it is tough because you want to give someone the benefit of the doubt, but I feel like if I was in that position and I wrote this book, I got accused of using AI, I would come out so strongly against it. I'd be like, I 100% did not use AI. I'm so offended that this was even mentioned. I would just fight the allegations, and there could be multiple reasons why she may not feel like doing that, but it just feels like there's been a bit of evasion on the issue and kind of trying to redirect the blame, because even if it is the case that somehow maybe an editor used AI, it's still not a good look, because at the end of the day it's still your name, it's her name on the book. And other theories I've seen people float about is, I think it's pretty unlikely an editor would have rewritten the book with AI, is that they wanted to publish the book quickly to keep up with the hype. So the publishing house didn't actually really read or vet the book well enough to spot themselves, oh, this may be AI or seem like AI. So they've pushed it out onto the shelves. So they may have not necessarily added AI, but it seems like maybe they didn't do a good enough job to check for it. And now here's the bigger controversy, is that they've actually pulled the book from the shelves, and I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I feel really sad for the author, and she, as I mentioned, she's a black woman, so of course she's been getting all sorts of microaggressions and racism on top of this, which I feel like people are using AI as the vehicle just to spread their rather bigoted and hating views. But anyway, discussion for another day. And yeah, they've pulled the book off the shelves, and unfortunately, I thought people would be happy with that. If you're anti AI, that's probably the result that you wanted, but people are just still dogpiling and like frothing at the mouth about it. And I just feel like the comments I've been seeing, people are treating her like she's a criminal or she's like killed their cat. I'm like, this anti AI movement is starting to remind me of the Salem witch trials, because I will go into later in the video some companies that have faced AI allegations with absolutely no proof. And it just feels like, historically, it'd be like, a woman's a witch, she's a witch. Now it's like anything that doesn't sit right with you, you can call out on the internet, say, that's AI, I think it's AI, and it can completely ruin a person's career or life. Like, again, I feel so sorry for Mia because she's had to come off of social media. She's been absolutely bullied and harassed, and it's just too far. I absolutely understand like the environmental impact of AI, the impact on people's careers. It's impacted the career path that I studied for and went down, but it's it's too much, I think, to continuously bully somebody over it. Like, we got your point. You don't like AI, you don't like the book. Why couldn't it be left at that? Also, excuse the hair. I'm retwisting it tomorrow and dyeing it soon. On top of this controversy, as if poor Mia wasn't having an absolutely awful time of it already, there was controversy over the book cover. So I love the book cover. It has like a really cute, like sight hound type dog with a pink bow. And apparently, the author Mia found it on Pinterest. She did not know that it was a certain person's artwork or the artist that drew it. And then the artist has found out, I think, through this controversy, that her artwork is being used as the book cover, and she's demanded that it be changed, and she is now suing Mia. The cover has been redone. Again, I'm not sure whether it's been redone by an artist or AI, who knows, but it is very similar to the artwork that the artist has asked to take down. So that's another little part that people are quite angry about, which I again think is fair. But at the end of the day, she's being sued, so she's being punished enough for it. So I don't feel like it needs to go further. And as I've stated, totally understand the anti AI stance, but the way it's turning into a vicious witch hunt is too much, especially when it's against individuals. I understand if it's like a huge company lazily using AI, fine, because you're not specifically going after someone, but it just makes me a little bit more uncomfortable when it's just going after a specific person, especially if it is a marginalized person as well, because then there's layers to it. On the contrary, I've never heard of this author before, but when looking into this AI books and author controversy, there's an author called James Frey or Fry, and he is white. He is a white man. I think he has a problematic past. I think he's been around for a while, but he openly uses AI in his books. He stated that he uses it to help edit and plan them. I don't think he's admitted to using AI to write them or totally outright to write him, but he is associated with AI, especially his newer book. And there has been backlash against him in these books, but from what I've seen on Facebook, on Reddit, it hasn't been the same level of vitriol that Mia has faced. And I even have a couple comments here defending him. So this one, I'll just skim over this. Gonna make some folks mad. But in a world with ultra processed food, sound, synthesized music, and CGI action movies, I'm not seeing the issue here. He uses AI as a tool to clean his books up and make a better product. It's just a sign of the times. If you think you're living a life and ingesting art that is completely clean of technology, you are living in a fantasy world. And then this one from Facebook. Laughing at all these comments bashing James Frey's use of AI while it exists all over, but see the daily praise of terrible, overrated book authors so often seen on the buy one, get one half off tables at the major bookstore. So that's what I found interesting. He has had a backlash, but it has been much more minor. Like, why is that? Is that because he's been more open, like actually upfront about using AI? Is it because he's a white guy? Is it because he's a guy? But I want to challenge that, because even if he has been upfront about AI, if you are so anti AI, like you've been going after Mia, wouldn't that warrant the same reaction? Because at the end of the day, it's still AI. So just found that quite interesting, the kind of contrast between reactions to other books that have mentioned that may have been made with AI and the reaction to Shy Girl. So wanted to point that out. It's a tough one because the book talk and online book community is known for being toxic and having blind spots. So I totally agree with being anti AI, but if you're using it as a vehicle to be racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever, just to be prejudiced, I think that's pretty pathetic. And that's why I feel some of the backlash, not only with Shy Girl, but with other AI related things in different industries, is connected to that. And that's why I'm comparing it to the witch trials. It's just vicious, it's out of hand, and it's a lot. It's too much. Unsurprisingly, it's not just the book community that's been affected by this very passionate AI discussion and movement. The gaming industry has had some issues as well. So there's a new early access, like cozy farming game, which is 100% my thing, that's come out, called Star Sand Island. And the first thing I heard about the game was a post berating it for apparently using AI and having fake reviews. So again, that's not off to a good start. And then when I did a bit more research, I saw quite a few accusations of it using generative AI, but there wasn't very clear evidence that they actually are. The company hasn't admitted to it, and there hasn't been clear, solid evidence. So I feel like some of the claims, some people are going back on the claims now and talking about other issues in the game, not so much focusing on the AI. So whether or not they have used it, it hasn't been confirmed, but it definitely has publicly damaged the game, because as I said, that's the first impression I got of the game, and therefore I probably won't bother buying it, not because of the AI now, because I know it's not proven, but just that initial negative reaction, it is off-putting. And I imagine for a lot of other people who wouldn't even research deeper, probably still think, oh yeah, it's definitely an AI game, I'm gonna stay far away from that. So it can show just the tricky line, especially the accusations. It's a very different situation when a company's been upfront about using AI, but when it's not actually clear if they have, sometimes the accusations, they make me feel really icky, because it feels really unfair. Because if they haven't, how could they prove it to us, really, unless, I don't know, they're going to show us the coding file. So when they have those accusations, even if they refute them, there's probably still going to be people like, you're lying, like there's no proof you're not using it. So again, it's just a really tricky thing. One of my favorite studios, Larian, they are responsible for Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity Original Sin, so on and so forth, have actually come out in interviews saying they are most likely going to use AI in the future, but not for voicing the games or making the games. They said it's going to be for like exploring ideas and maybe making concept art. People are very unhappy with this, and I feel like this backlash is fair, because I haven't seen it be too vicious. Like, people saying it is disappointing, and I haven't seen people saying they're going to boycott, which is interesting. But yeah, just seeing people voicing their displeasure with this decision and their worries about, okay, maybe they're only going to start using it for ideas, but what if it escalates and they do start using it in the creation of the game? But I've seen people have been very respectful, I feel, from Reddit, the discussions I've seen, and on Facebook as well. And I think the reaction is probably more respectful because of how open and honest and forward Larian have been. And I think if you're a company or an individual that is going to use AI in your work, just be open about it. I feel like it definitely does soften the backlash somewhat. So I think it is the right decision to be open about it, because if they wasn't, and then it came down later down the line, they used it, it probably would be quite a vicious reaction like we've seen with the Shy Girl book. It's also become an issue in the puzzle community. I love jigsaw puzzles. I usually just buy mine on Vinted or in the charity store, so I do pretty old ones. But apparently with the newer puzzles, AI art is becoming a huge issue. So this brand called Seco, they were found to be selling AI puzzles, and there's quite a few I think on Amazon. I don't buy them on Amazon, but that are definitely very obviously AI. And I've seen a few in the range. I feel like some of the ones they sell in the range, it's a UK store, are fishy. They're a bit fishy. They've got the AI piss filter, glowy, uncanny valley look. But that's really been troubling the puzzling community. So much so, on the puzzling subreddit, they make threads of non-AI puzzle companies you can buy from, which makes me sad. I'm like, that is just so frustrating that it's gotten that bad. But one thing I really respect, so Wentworth Wooden Puzzles, they came out with a statement not too long ago that they're going to seize manufacturing and selling AI puzzles. So from now on, they're only going to sell puzzles made by artists. And I think that is a really good way to handle the AI backlash and actually listen to your consumers and take a stance. So loads of respect for them doing that. And again, I think the backlash wouldn't be as bad if these companies were open about using AI, but a lot of the puzzles they're not labeled as AI generated, which I think is a really easy fix. I'm like, just label it as AI generated, because then people can make a decision, because probably the average consumer probably doesn't even care. They would still buy it. But at least in that way, the people who are anti-AI can avoid it and put their money towards deserving artists. It's like labeling a food where it has nuts on. That's good, because then somebody with a nut allergy can avoid it and can avoid getting sick from that. Like, imagine selling a product with nuts and not labeling that it has nuts, and then somebody eats it with a nut allergy. They're going to be mad, if they're hopefully not dead, but they're going to be mad. So just be open and label it. Stop trying to trick people. That's probably where a lot of the anger is coming from, is feeling deceived and lied to and tricked, which again is totally valid. It's not a reason to be really, really nasty, but it's definitely a reason to be upset. A backlash I sort of agree with, just because it's something I've been noticing a lot. So it's like local small businesses and events using AI generated flyers. This irks me so bad. Like, AI art, it's really strange, but it literally gives me goosebumps, but not in a good way. Like, I feel really weird and really creeped out when I look at it. Like, can't remember what the condition's called, but you know, people who can't look at like holes or pictures of holes. That's the feeling I get when I look at these AI posters, and I'm going to put some examples up here. They're like fake businesses because I didn't want to call out actual businesses, but oh my gosh, they just make me feel icky. I think they're gross, and I do actually feel like when I see businesses use that, it makes me not want to patronize them. So I'm not someone, I wouldn't comment on it. I wouldn't comment and cuss them out about it, but it would make me not want to spend my money with them. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to buy the shop with them or spend money on them. I'm going to go to a different business. So that's what I wanted to mention in this video. Yeah, the like local and small businesses, sometimes even big businesses, using AI flyers, and people are sick of it as well. So I've got a couple of comments here. One of them's from a local community group in my area, just saying they've had enough of the AI adverts on the local group, which is true. Like, I just scroll past. If I see someone advertising their business with AI flyer, I just scroll past. I'm not going to give them hate or anything like that, but I just scroll past. I'm not interested at all in engaging with that. And yeah, a lot of the local businesses, especially pubs, really like to use them here, but people are fed up. And then it's really interesting, this survey from a Black Canadian group, which shows if people would want to engage with a business that used AI to market and advertise. So I found that super interesting. And again, the backlash with that, it hasn't been as vicious. It's been more fatigue. It's people just like, I'm so tired of these awful AI flyers. So it's been a lot more balanced. So out of the AI backlash world, multiverse, it seems books and games produce stronger reactions than other things. And maybe it is because they are such creative fields and they're underfunded. It's hard enough to make money in those fields as it is. So using AI feels very unfair to people supporting those fields and people working in those fields. And that is absolutely valid. But I'm just asking for just a little bit of balance. Things are a bit too extreme in the world these days, and I think we need to learn how to voice our displeasure without going crazy about it. Again, especially when it's individuals involved. If it's like a multi-billion-dollar company like Amazon, then yeah, have at it, to be honest, because they are evil overlords. But when it's like a small indie person doesn't have a lot of power or money at their helm, I think we can express our displeasure, but I think I just refrain from the personal attacks. Like, attack the AI, don't attack the person, in my opinion. Going back to the AI flyers and pictures that businesses are using for marketing, they overstimulate me. They're so overstimulating. It's just like the piss filter and then the neon and the really creepy smiley poreless people and the ugly fonts and the mutant looking food. It's overstimulating. I'm like, stop. It's enough. It's enough. If you are in the field of AI accusations, I feel like maybe try to have some evidence to back it up. If you can't get evidence, then say it's alleged. Don't say for sure, oh, this is definitely AI. Say it could be, I have that feeling. But yeah, just be be really careful who you're accusing, because you could be burning innocent people at the stake that are not witches, which happened a lot in Salem. So we want, the world is going backwards enough as it is. I think we don't need to bring back witch trials. Let me know your opinion in the comments on this whole AI debacle. I'll be really interested to hear your opinion or your experiences. Don't forget to drop a like, and if you feel like it, please subscribe.